Bonjour tout le monde. Aujourd'hui, nous allons parler du chapitre 8, à la maison, et on va parler de vocabulaire 2. So in this chapter, we've learned to ask for, give, and refuse permission, and tell how often we do things. So in this half of the chapter, we're going to learn to describe a house and tell where things are. So, if we're looking at the outside of a house, you're going to see various key features. Ici, c'est le balcon, or the balcony. And if you notice, these boxes over here are referring to different levels. So how many levels are in this house? 1, 2. Now the French go about naming levels a little bit different than we do. So the bottom floor, we would normally say in the United States, is the first floor, right? No. In French, we say le rez-de-chaussée, or ground level. Doesn't sound like a big deal until we start adding levels. The second floor in a French building is called the premier étage, or the first floor. So the way that they measure is not just number the levels from the ground. You have your ground floor, and then your premier étage is your first floor above ground. So your third floor would be the second, your fourth floor would be the third, and so on and so forth. So the ground floor is always going to be your rez-de-chaussée, and we count up from that. Okay? So dans ce photo, nous avons la cuisine, the kitchen. This room down here we have la salle à manger, the dining room. And if we notice this staircase over here, we call l'escalier, the steps. Okay? Now ici, nous avons deux salles à peu près les mêmes. We have two rooms that are similar, but what do you notice the difference is? The picture at the top only has a toilet, whereas the picture in the middle has a shower. So they split these rooms up in France. So the room that has your toilet is la toilette, versus the room that has the bathtub is the salle de bain. Now that's not to say that you can't have a toilette in your salle de bain, but if you have a room that does not have a bathtub or a shower, we simply call that les toilettes. Alright, moving on, outside we have a garden, which we call le jardin. Now inside we have le salon, the kind of family room. And we have various items within that. We have une chaîne stéréo, un tapis, the rug, un sofa, un table basse, our coffee table. We have un fauteuil, which is like a comfy easy chair, and tableau, a painting or a picture. Now outside, many of us have le garage, a garage. Bien, on va continuer. Alors, ça c'est une chambre, a bedroom. And on the wall we have une étagère, which is a shelving unit. So notice that looks similar to stairs, escalier, as it begins with an E, but it also looks like the word for floors, an étage, like the floors of a house. So if you think about that leveling, étage, étagère, it might help you remember. Now we also have un commode, which is a little dresser. une table de nuit, a nightstand. Un lit, the bed. Une lampe, which is our lamp. And right here, even though it's not a very good picture, is a wardrobe, which we call une armoire. We also use that word in English. It is a cognate. Finally, we've got a separate picture off to the side, which is our closet. Et en français, on dit un placard. Bien. So in order to describe a house or an apartment, we have to have a little bit more extensive of a vocabulary. So par exemple, Mademoiselle Smith, j'habite dans un appartement. I live in an apartment. Mais ma sœur, elle habite dans une maison. So where I live in an apartment, my sister lives in a house. Now, mon appartement, c'est un immeuble de 3 étages. I live in a building with 3 floors. In this case, it happens to be 6. Bien. Il y a 5 pièces chez moi. What do you think that number 5 is referring to? I have 5 what? Rooms. So, il y a 5 pièces chez moi. Là, we've seen before. Là, c'est la chambre de mes parents. So when you say là and point something out, you're saying, oh, well, there's la chambre de mes parents. There's my parents' bedroom. Et enfin, dans le salon, il y a un sofa, 2 fauteuils, et une table. So in this case, we're making a list of items that are in the living room. Okay. One common error alert that I talked about before was don't confuse étage with étagère. It may help you remember that they're similar, but the étage refers to the floor or level, whereas the étagère is the bookshelf. So if you think maybe étagère, more than one, if it's got more than one level, it's the shelving unit instead of just the single floor. Alright, one last thing to make note of, armoires. Typically, older homes in France do not have the built-in closets like we do. A lot of times, homeowners will purchase those armoires to store their clothing, shoes. If you notice, this has place to hang. It's got shelves, pull-out drawers. So these things aren't as widely used anymore in the United States, but they are still used in other places in the world. So that is all for today. Pause the video, review it if necessary, make note of any questions you still have, and we'll discuss this at the beginning of next class. So for tonight, bonne nuit.